Alright everyone, let's get started on wrapping the cover for our cute little recipe album. So you are going to need 2 pieces of the medium weight chipboard that is 4 3/4 by 6 1/2, and one that's 3 1/2 by 6 1/2. You're going to need some score tape. I have the 3/8 here, does not have to be the 3/8. And I have some 1/4 inch, and again, doesn't have to be the 1/4 inch, but that is what I'm going to use to connect my 2 pieces of cardstock here. And my cardstock measures 8 1/2 by 11. And we're going to go ahead, I think, and put it together. Yeah, we'll put it together this way. That's perfect. Okay. So we're going to first attach our 2 pieces of cardstock, and these are the 65-pound weight, and this is just some off-white cardstock. So we're just going to go ahead and burnish that on, and then we will remove it, and this is just the 1/4 inch tape. And then we will just attach it right here, just like so, and then give that a good burnish. And now we'll start with our center piece here. So this is our spine piece, and I've just got some wet glue here. You can use any wet glue. I just really prefer the Fabri-Tac when I am doing anything with the lighter weight paper. So the 65-pound weight paper, I just really prefer the Fabri-Tac. I just feel like it doesn't show through on the other side, and I know a lot of people say a lot of glues don't, and I don't know if it's because of where I live and the temperatures are different, and maybe I don't know what the difference is, but a lot of them do show through on the other side, and I know that the Fabri-Tac doesn't, and it is a little bit pricey, so I never ever buy it without a coupon at Michael's, but I still prefer it. Alright, so now we're going to attach this down, leaving about 1/8 of an inch between our spine and our larger piece of chipboard here. And we'll just go ahead and attach the other side. Just like so. And then we'll just attach it down here, again, leaving about 1/8 of an inch of a gap between the spine and one of our covers here. And I'm just going to flip it over and use my bone folder to really burnish that down nicely. Get that glue all spread out at all the corners under there. And now I'm going to go ahead and cut off the excess right there, and a little bit off the sides as well, because it's a little too wide. So I'm going for 1 inch all the way around, but doing more is not going to hurt either. You just don't want too much space, because then you end up having more bulk than what you need. Alright, so now I'm just going to go ahead and bring in all my sides like this, and just fold them over really nicely and burnish them. So just train the paper first, then bring it over, and then I just kind of slide it along here, like so. Alright, and we'll do this other shorter side here. and then this final long one. So yeah, I just bend it in a bit before I do my final press down. That just helps the paper kind of remember where it's supposed to go. Okay, and then I like to look and make sure that, I'm not sure I've ever showed you guys this before, I like to look along my crease here all the way around and make sure that my crease is actually right up along my chipboard, because sometimes when you fold it over on this side, this chipboard could be slightly longer or shorter than this side, and by the time you fold it down over here, it can be as much as an 1/8 of an inch difference here. So I always like to check that. All right, so now we're going to go ahead and cut out these corners here. So by folding it, we've created a square in every corner. So I'm just gonna go ahead and go up this side here, and I'm just gonna go to about somewhere between a 1/16 and an 1/8 of an inch from the edge of my chipboard, so that when we fold it over, we have a nice neat fold. All right, so let's just do that all the way around. All right, so now let's go ahead and add our tape, and we're going to need to add it along all of our sides of our chipboard, like so, and then also along all of our pattern paper, or sorry, cardstock sides. So here and here. All right, so now we can just go ahead and burnish all of our tape down really nicely. Make sure it all adheres really well all the way around. And then we're going to go ahead and remove 2 of our short sides on our chipboard, 1 of our long sides, and then also 1 of our long sides of our cardstock. And we're just going to bend that in the middle and just kind of smooth it out to the edge like that. And then with the same thing on the other side, we will remove 1 of the long sides. Well, 2 of the long sides, I guess, and then bend it in the middle and just smooth it out. And then we'll do our short sides here, making sure to tuck in any tape that could be sticking over. Just tuck in these little corners here to give us a nice neat corner. And then just pull it in. And then just our final one here. Just go ahead and just bring it down just like that. All right, and then we're going to go ahead and just burnish it all down all the way around, just like so. All right, now that we've got that done, we can go ahead and just start lifting our edges there and bringing in our sides. Same thing here. And I'm just using the back of my bone folder, not the tip, because that will for sure rivet. All right, and then we've got our cute little chunky book ready to go. All right, now I've cut some pattern paper to be our spine hider piece. And the reason why I've done it with the pattern paper from the collection is because our spine will be exposed. So that is why, because our little recipe section is going to be over here and our little folio section is going to be over here, this side is actually not going to have anything on it. It's just going to be what gives it everything space to work in there. So that's why we want that to be pretty, because it's not going to be covered by the elements of our book once the book is laying open. Alright, so I'm using this plaid print, and it's the one that has the poinsettia and the little acorns and hollies and all of that on the other side. So I'm going to use the plaid print in here. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to cover, or I'm going to put tape on both sides of my spine here. So both sides, and then all the way down through the middle. And then I'm also going to add tape to all four sides of my pattern paper piece. Alright, so I've gone ahead and I've added the tape here, and I actually added 2 strips on either side of the spine, just because my spine hider piece is a little wider than I would usually do. Alright, so now that all the backings are removed, I'm going to place it on, making sure to center it up and down and side to side. Now we can go ahead and just find our score lines again and just bend them up. So we're just going to use the back of our bone folder and then just slowly bring them up, just so we can get our book moving again. Alright, so now we're going to go ahead and attach a piece of pattern paper over here. So this piece measures 6 3/8 tall by 4 1/2 wide. And it's just going to go in here on our back cover. And for this, I'm just going to use my art glitter glue, making sure to get a nice even layer all over, especially in the corners, where it's going to have to attach to our book. There will be a lot of pushing and pulling on this piece as well, since our pockets will be on there. Alright, and then we're just going to nestle it right into the corners, and then give that a nice press down there. Just like so. Alright, now we can work on our pockets that are going to go back here. So for that, you're going to need a piece that measures 7 1/2 by 11, and you're going to need 4 of these because we're going to have 4 pockets. So 7 1/2 by 11, you're going to put it in the scoreboard on the 7 1/2 inch side, and you're going to score it 1/2 inch, 1, 1 1/2, 6, 6 1/2, and 7. So 7 1/2 inch side goes in. We're going to score it 1/2, 1, 1 1/2, 6, 6 1/2, and 7. Then we're going to flip it to the 11 inch side, and you're going to score at 5 3/8 and 5 3/4, or alternately you could score at 5 3/8, flip it, and score at 5 3/8 again if that's easier for you. Alright, so before we fold anything, we're going to go ahead and cut out the sections that we do not need, which is all of this. So it's these 3 score lines and these 3 squares here. So I'm just going to go ahead and cut up this innermost score line here. all the way up to the first, or I guess the second from down here, score line. And then I'm going to cut over and I'm going to completely cut out this here section, okay? And I'm also going to go in here and do a teeny tiny little trim off the bottom here, just barely a hair. That's just going to help the pocket to go together nicer. All right, now for this side, I'm just going to flip it over here. And I'm just going to attempt to see my score lines. And just cut up that score line all the way again to the second score line. And I'll flip it back over. And I'll cut over. And then I will just do my teeny tiny little haircut from that section there. Barely even enough to notice. I need to get in here a little bit better. Just like so. Alright. And now that I'm done that, I'm actually going to go ahead and erase my score lines. Or sorry, my measurements here. I don't want to see them on the inside or outside of my pocket. Alright, so now we can go ahead and start our folding. So this is going to get folded up. So we're going to fold all the way to that first score line there. And then we'll bend it back and we'll fold that second one. So give that a good burnish with your bone folder and then bring it back down. Give it another burnish. All right. So now this side is going to come in and we're going to burnish it. And then we're going to fold it back on itself and burnish that, and then one more time in and burnish that. All right, and then same thing over here. One time in and then out. And then back in, just like so. All right. Now this is going to come up and it's going to meet our two lines up here to create our little accordion pocket. So we'll just start slowly here and add our glue to this tab here. And we'll bring up this side and just kind of press it down where there's no glue. And we're going to be careful down here to keep our bottom nice and square, which is one of the reasons we did that little haircut, so that we wouldn't be out of room down here from that extra bulk down there. So then try to keep it even to the top as well and even to the sides. All right, and just take your time. There's no rush. Just take your time, get it exactly the way you want it, and then once it's where you want it, go ahead and press that down with your bone folder. Just go in between your little accordion there and press it down. And then we'll do the same thing over here. Just go ahead and add your glue to your tab. All right, and then just attach it down here where you want it, and then slowly just work your way to the top. Just like so. You could also use tape for this, but I personally just prefer to use the glue because I just think it just gives you a little bit more time to really work those tabs to get them where you want them. All right, now there's your little accordion pocket. So I have already made my other 3 accordion pockets, so they're all just gonna get glued together just like this, and then they're going to be placed into the back of the book here. Alright, so now I'm just going to go ahead and glue them all together, and again I'm just going to use the wet glue because it's going to give me more time. You could, however, use tape and then put the wet glue over top of the tape if you think it's going to give you some extra strength, but I am not too concerned about that. So I'm going to go ahead now and go inside here with my bone folder and just press them together, and then I'm just going to go ahead and attach the other two as well. Alright, so I've got all my little pockets attached together here now, and now they're just going to get attached inside the book here, and I'm going to be careful to stay away from my crease, and I'm going to leave about they're going to be centered towards the bottom, so I'm going to leave them, I'm going to leave about 1/8 of an inch of a border of my pattern paper all the way around, centered towards the bottom, because there's going to be more space at the top for our recipe cards. So you can go ahead again, just add your glue to the back of it, just like so, and then we're going to attach them, like I said, leaving about 1/8 of an inch of space around it with the pattern paper showing. Alright, so just like so, and then I'll go in with my bone folder and make sure everything is pressed down nicely in there. Alright, so now our cute little recipe section is attached into the book just like so. Okay guys, so let's go ahead and attach our little first elements here on this side of the book. So the first one we're going to measure, or we're going to attach, is going to come right here, and it's going to be on this side going outward. So this measures 9 3/4 by 6 1/4 high. So 9 3/4 by 6 1/4, and you're going to score it on the 9 3/4 side at 1/2 inch and 1. So it's going to give you your 1/2 inch flap and then a 1/2 inch gusset, and you're going to score it again at 5 1/2, and then this piece is going to fold under. This section that's left here is going to fold under, and then we're going to attach it over here on this side. So I'm just going to attach it down and kind of put it more towards this side, and there's going to be a little bit more room top and bottom. So about 1/8 of an inch from the edge, and then about 1/4 of an inch top and bottom. Alright, so now that we've got that attached down, we're going to go over here and attach a flap that's going to be coming in from this side, from our spine. So this piece measures 6 1/4 by 9 1/2, and on the 9 1/2 inch side you're going to score it 1/2 inch and that 3/4 of an inch, and it's going to give you a 1/4 inch gusset. And then at 5 1/4, and again this piece is going to fold under, and then we're going to attach it down like this. So again, let's just remove a little bit of the backing and attach it down. I'm gonna fold this under so I can kind of see where I'm at over here. Once where I have it where I want it, I'm just going to remove the rest of my backing and just press down my gusset, and then I'll just bring it back up to reinforce it, and then that is going to be how it looks from the top, just like so. Sorry guys, I'm battling a little bit with a summer cold, so I might be a little croaky like a frog. All right, let's get to attaching our little elements. Okay, everyone, so let's work on the inside front cover. So this is all the way at the back in here. So I've already gone ahead and covered it with some pattern paper in there. So we are going to have a waterfall in here, and you're going to need 6 pieces of the cardstock that measure 4.5 by 4 1/4, and on the 4 1/4 side you're going to score at 1/2 inch. So on the 4 1/4 side you're going to score at 1/2 inch, and you need 6 pieces of these, if I didn't say. I'm sorry, I'm still a little bit croaky this morning. So we're going to start by putting our first one down, and we're going to leave about 1/8 of an inch, no, it's probably more of a 1/16 of an inch around the 3 sides there, and we're going to place it right about there. So I'm going to go ahead and remove a little bit of my backing, and I'm going to bend up my tape like this, and I'm going to start, and I'm going to align it over here before I press down this side. So that looks about good to me. Right about there. So go ahead and remove the rest of your backing. And then we'll go ahead with our second one. And it's just going to go right underneath this one. And before I remove any tape, I want to close it and see. Yeah, it looks like it's going to line up pretty good. So just remove a bit of that backing, and then just line it up right underneath there, like so, and then close it up, make sure it still lines up, and then remove the rest of my backing. And I will attach the rest the same way. Alright, so we've got our little waterfall attached. Next we're going to attach the closure piece that's going to come from down here. And this piece measures 1.5 by 5 1/4. And on the 5 1/4 side you're going to score 1/2 inch. I've already attached my tape there. And I'm just going to slide it under here and just kind of place it where I want it, trying to center it as best as I can. A lot of people say they have problems seeing black on black, and I feel like I have problems seeing white on white, or I guess in this case off-white on off-white. So I'm just going to put a magnet there, and then that's going to close that. But for now I'm just going to place my eraser there, or maybe something that doesn't look dirty. And then on either side of this inside section here, in these 2 sections, we're going to have an angled pocket. So one of the angles, I've already cut the pattern paper just as a visual for you. So they're going to come in like this. So one angle is going to come down this way, and one is going to come down this way. So to achieve that, you're going to need, for both sides, you're going to need 2 pieces that measure 5 3/8 wide by 5 1/2 tall, and you're going to score 1/2 inch on both sides. Then on the one that comes on this side here, you're going to mark, so if your flaps are open like this, from this score line here, you're going to mark 1 inch in, and from the bottom, you're going to mark 1 inch up. And then you're just going to cut right through this section here, and I'm just going to grab my trimmer and I'm going to show you how I do that. So this is my very attractive trimmer, but it works really well. So I've got my 2 marks there, and I'm going to mark, or I guess my bar is kind of blocking it here, but basically what I'm doing is I'm going to line up this notch here with where my trimmer cuts, and then this one here. So if you look how I have it in the cutter here, and I'm just going to line up those 2 marks like that. So this mark's lined up with this down here, and this one's like this. So we've got an angle going on there. So once you've got them lined up, you just cut across. And then we've got our angle there. And for your pattern paper, instead of marking in at 1 inch, you're going to mark in at 3/4. And this piece measures 4 1/8 by 5 1/4. So it's 4 1/8 wide by 5 1/4 tall. And you're going to mark in at 3/4 of an inch here, and at 3/4 of an inch up from the bottom. And then that's going to give you your perfect mat in there, just like so, okay? And now for the other side, for the pocket that's going to go over here, you're going to do the same thing we just did, except you're going to mark in from this side 1 inch. So on this one, we marked in from this side 1 inch. On this side, like for this one over here, we're going to mark in 1 inch from the opposite side, and we're going to mark up 1 inch from the opposite bottom. So they're going to mirror each other like that, okay? And then for the pattern paper, you're going to do the exact same thing, like so, except you're going to mark in 3/4 of an inch from this side and 3/4 of an inch from the bottom, and then just cut across. All right, and then you just need to open it up from our mark that the one that we just cut, and you're going to see that you have this kind of janky edge there. You're just going to trim that off, and then you're just going to attach your tape to it, just like so, okay? And I've already attached my tape to the other long side, to this side over here. All right, and then I've also already attached a piece of 1/4 inch tape along the bottom of my pocket here. All right, so what I'm going to do first is I'm going to remove the backing of this little one here. And I'm going to go ahead and line up my long edge over here. And the reason why it's 5 3/8 versus 5 1/2 wide, because this section is 4 1/2, is because I want a little bit of space on both sides so that we're able to open and close it. So we're just going to line it up, leaving about 1/16 of an inch from both sides and all the way to the bottom. And then I'm just going to press down my tape here. And then I'll just open it up, remove the rest of my backings, and then I'm just gonna smooth it down and on. All right, so now that we've got our pocket down, let's go ahead and attach our magnet for our closure. So I've just got my little magnets here. So I'm just going to grab 2 of them and my tape, and I'm going to go ahead and place it where I want it here, and I'm just going to put a piece of tape over top, and then I'm going to grab another piece of tape, and I'm going to let my magnet catch the way it wants to, and then I'm going to put this upside down on there, my tape, let my magnet catch, and then I'm going to close it up, give it a good press down. Alright. We've got our magnet attached here now. So now I'm going to repeat the same process on this side over here. Alright, so I've gone ahead and attached my pocket on this side and my magnetic closures, and I also attached a magnet here to close this up. So now I'm going to close these sections, and I'm going to fold in this side like this, okay? So on this section here, we're going to have a stacked pocket. So for our stacked pocket, you're going to need one piece that measures 5.5 by 5, and on the 5.5 inch side, you're going to score 1/2 inch on both sides, and you're going to need one that measures 5.5 by 3.5, and on the 5.5 inch side, you're going to score 1/2 inch on both sides. So I've already done my punching with my envelope punch board for the shorter pocket, but on the larger pocket, I'm going to show you how to do it. So we're going to place it in so that our score lines are on the sides here. And you're going to line up your first score line on this side with the 1.5 inch mark. And you're going to punch. And then we can flip it over and do the same thing. Just line it up with the 1.5 inch mark and punch. So we've got our section cut out there. You're going to need a surface you can cut on, a metal ruler, and your craft knife. And we're going to start with our pockets, and you're just going to line up the metal ruler with these dips here that we created with the envelope punch board. Just line it up like so, and then we'll go ahead and use our craft knife to just cut that section right out, just like that. Okay, for the pattern paper, we're just gonna bring it into 1 1/4 and punch, and 1 1/4 and punch, and then we're just going to cut out that center piece again, just like we did for the pocket. Just like so. Alright, and then that is alright now. So we've got all of our pockets ready. So we're going to go ahead and attach the first one into the book, and I have attached the score tape on both sides and then the 1/4 inch along the bottom. So I'm just going to go ahead and fold them in and give them a good burnishing. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and just remove a little bit of my backing here. Bend it back, and then I'm gonna lift up my pocket or my page so I have a little bit more control here, and I'm gonna line it up all the way to the edge, the outside edge, and all the way to the bottom. And once it's where I want it, I'm just gonna go ahead and remove the rest of my backing and give it a good press down. I'm going to remove the bottom tape and the side over here. It's going to smooth it down and then give it a good press. And you can press in your gusset that you've got here just so you can give it a good press down. Alright, now I'm going to go ahead and attach my second pocket the same way. So just remove a bit of my backing, bend it out, and then I'll line it up all the way to the bottom and all the way to this edge. And then just remove the rest of the backing, press it down, and remove the backing from this side and the bottom. And again, we can just press that gusset flat so we're knowing where we're going, and then press it down. And then I'm just going to attach my pattern paper, just like so in here. Alright, and I will do that after. For now, I'm just gonna close that up, and we're gonna go to the very front of our little folio section over here on this side. And we are going to add our 2 pockets. So for these, you're gonna need 2 pieces that measure 6.5 by 4 3/4. So you're gonna need 2 of them. And on the 6.5 inch side, you're gonna score at 3 6. And on the 4 3/4 side, you're gonna score at 1/2 inch. So what we need to do, the first thing we need to do is on this section here, we need to just cut out this little square here. So just go ahead and give yourself that little cut there. And then here, where these score lines are here, we're going to cut up here. So we are separating these 2 pieces. And you're going to cut in and in, just like so. Okay? And then we can go ahead and angle that as well. And this side here as well. So this is what your 2 pieces should look like. Just like that, okay? So now what we need to do is one of these flaps needs to fold in and one needs to fold out. Because one of them is going to be the piece that, the piece that attaches to the book. And one of them is the closure for the pocket. So once we've got our cutting done, we need to go ahead and close up the pockets. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna fold down our little 1/2 inch section up here and fold this one in. And then just go ahead and add some glue to that, to those tabs. And then just bring them together and then just go ahead and burnish that glue down with your bone folder. Alright, and then we need to add some tape to our tabs here where it's going to attach. So we want our openings both going this direction. So we're going to add the tape according to that. Alright, so once you've got your tape added, you can go ahead and we're going to line it up all the way to this side so that there's a little bit of space left over here for our insert so that we have room to pull out our insert. So I'm just going to go ahead and remove all the backing. And I'm going to line it up all the way to the top and all the way to this side over here. Once I have it, I'll just give it a good press down. All right, and we're gonna do the same thing for this one. There's gonna be a little gap in the middle, so that's normal, don't worry about that. Make sure your openings are both going the same way. And then again, line it up all the way to the bottom and all the way to the edge of this side. And then we can give that a good press down. Just like so. So we have our little pockets that fold open here. So now we need to attach our magnets for the closure. So you're going to need 4 magnets here. So we'll attach one together and then the other one you'll do on your own. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and attach one of my magnets to the back of this pocket here. And then again, I'm just going to get another piece of tape and put it upside down on there. Throw my magnet on, let it catch. And then just go ahead and close my pocket up, give that a good rub. Alright, so our magnet has caught there, so that is going to be our closure for that one. And then I'm going to go ahead and attach a magnet there as well. And then that is it for our little folio side here. I'm just going to go ahead and add my pattern paper. These sections here, so this one and this one, is just going to be I'm just going to add a 4x6 piece of craft cardstock for just picture space, and the same with the back of this one. So this piece here and also this piece here will also just get a 4x6 craft cardstock just for picture matting. And then over here for our little recipe inserts, you're going to need 8 pieces that measure 4 1/4 by 6 1/4. And they're all just going to go in here, and of course way more than that could fit. You could probably put 3 or 4 in each section, but for right now I'm just going to put 8. So you're going to need 1 in each little section, just like so. And I've already cut all my panels, and then all I'm going to do is just use the pattern paper and the cut aparts to decorate them up a bit. And then that is the end of our tutorial. I really hope you enjoyed this quick and easy recipe book slash folio. It was super fun to make, and I'm super excited to gift this to somebody for all their treasured Christmas memories to go in. And you're going to see the finished book in the walkthrough. And for the closure, I'm probably just going to use seam binding. Well, not probably, I am just going to use a seam binding closure. So it's going to look super cute once it's closed up. So if you haven't yet, please like and subscribe to my channel and comment. I love to hear from you guys, and I hope you have a wonderful day.